In my 7 years of reviewing products, I've come to realize one basic truth. More is not always better. Sometimes you get a new product that you're excited to try because it has more features, more power, more capability, maybe something the old product didn't have. And when you finally get your hands on it, you realize that new doesn't make it better. This is the story of the SwitchBot S20, a new, shiny, powerful, capable robot vacuum mop that's held back by the very features that make it special. Now, if you can't tell, the S20 is a big robot vacuum. It's about as wide as my current Roomba, which empties itself into a docking station, but it's taller. And that makes sense because this one also empties its dirt into a dock, and it can mop too. In fact, it can vacuum and mop at the same time, which means it needs room to both hold water and dirt simultaneously. Lift the top off and you'll find a dirt dustbin, a water tank, and in the back a wastewater container.
Wastewater box removed.
This one's the wastewater, and it will empty itself out into a sink if you hook it up correctly.
Wastewater box installed.
By the way, it talks if you can't tell. And this one is theoretically both solution clean water along with your dirt. But I found that they somehow can get things kind of mixed up a little bit because right now, you see this grossness going on in here? Well, stick around. You're going to see the experiment I tried later. And you can tell, by the way, that this thing does get dirty fast and show its dirt. Just me removing that revealed all kinds of weird grossness. Flip it over and you not only see the vacuum roller system, which does a nice job of preventing tangles, but also a small roller mop. There's a lot of technology packed into this one unit, which comes with both advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are obvious. You can fit more tech into this space. It vacuums, it mops, it has a full camera system with the LiDAR. It even has headlights so it can see better in dim areas. That extra tech makes mapping much faster and more accurate. This robot can essentially see into another room before it even gets there. Watching it map your home shows off just how impressive it is. First, it spins around to figure out where all the walls and the doors are. Then it goes into each room to check corners, furniture, and obstacles. Along the way, it'll even spot wires on the floor and avoid them in the future so that it won't get tangled. That's a big improvement over the new SwitchBot K11 Plus, which SwitchBot also sent me. Go check out that video if you're interested. I do appreciate that this one is a little bit less talkative than the K11 Plus though. The other one would be yelling at me to put it back up the right side up by now and giving me other warnings as well. The talking does help find it when you need to, if it gets lost, although again at its size that doesn't happen all that often. The S20 manages to avoid wires and objects pretty well and doesn't get stuck all that often, except on rugs for some reason. The rugs in my house really seem to get it tripped up. But that brings us to the downside, its size. This thing does not fit under my chairs, my couch, it can't even navigate my kitchen table. If it can't fit, it simply declares that spot a no-go zone. You can create your own no-go zones, or no mop zones by the way, which is great for protecting carpets. But if it physically can't reach an area, that area doesn't get cleaned, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a robot vacuum in the first place. After all, the whole idea is to let it do the cleaning so you don't have to. But if you're constantly going back to finish what it couldn't reach, how much time are you really saving? Maybe some, but not a lot. The vacuum job is okay at best. I wish it were more powerful. It manages to not pick up a lot of stuff that I do want it to pick up, but on carpet especially, it is sucking up quite a bit of dirt that doesn't look great when you have to clean out the thing. That leads us to the mopping system, which is different from some other robot mops. It's not a simple Swiffer style mop with a damp cloth. Instead, it sprays cleaning solution from a tank, actively scrubs, and then collects that dirty water back into a separate tank. The most expensive version, the one I'm testing, has an auto fill and auto drain system. You hook it up to a water source, like a bathroom or a kitchen sink, and it handles filling and draining on its own. It's not super loud while doing that, but when it does go to clean itself, it gets noisy. Emptying the vacuum bin is also pretty loud, and washing and drying the mop takes several hours. By default, it'll want to dry for 4, and I've had this drying for 2 and the roller mop is actually still damp to the touch. So at least 3, unless you're in a really, really warm home, I think is a requirement. You can set it for more for some reason, though I don't think that's necessary either. Now, as for how well it mops, that is a story of its own. I decided to try out something kind of interesting. I mixed together some mayonnaise, some syrup, and some water, and I dumped that all over the floor, and then I made this vacuum the floor. The first time I tried this, I ran into a big problem. It detected all that mess as an object and just avoided it entirely. I, at one point, in desperation, just put this on it and made it go. I eventually figured out in the app, you can tell it ignore that object you've detected and then it'll vacuum over there. I tried again and I did get it to mop over everything, but while it did pick it all up and it did seem to clear it, as soon as it was said it was done vacuuming and went to go home, it actually dropped a great big huge mess on the floor and then dragged some more across the floor. And the entire kitchen was sticky by the time it was done. So for regular, daily, just keep my clean floor clean, I think this will do the job. But if you have a sticky mess, like someone spilled soda on the floor, this isn't gonna get the job done. I do have to say though that compared to the K11, which is just a Swiffer style mop, it did better. This managed to pick up everything except that blob that it left behind and smeared around. The K11 Plus got stuck in the mayonnaise mess and couldn't finish the job and scrubbed it all around too. It actually made things worse. This theoretically made things better, so that's a step up at least, but it's a lot of money to spend for something that still can leave your floor sticky. And keep in mind again, since this is so large, if it can't reach a section of floor, then it's not gonna mop it at all in the first place. The base model for this robot starts at $800 with the regular docking station that you'll need to manually fill and empty. The autofill and auto drain version I'm testing is even more expensive, though SwitchBot hasn't shared the exact price yet, but I imagine it's in the $1,000 territory at least. If you have a large home with open spaces and lots of mopping to do on a daily basis, this might work for you. But if you live in a smaller space, or if you have lots of low furniture where this can't fit, you may want to consider the SwitchBot K11 Plus instead. Again, check out my video on that. But for now, I don't know. It's hard to recommend the S20. While it does do more, it's not necessarily better. Its large size to make all this happen kind of gets in the way of doing its main job, and it won't clean up massive messes, it just maintains. That's a lot of money to spend to not get a perfect mop system. I think I'd rather get the K11 Plus, which is far less expensive and does the job pretty well. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button while you're here. Until next time, bye!